Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Julia White, General Manager of Cloud and Enterprise. Now, as part of the Microsoft Cloud Roadshow, we've shared the latest on our cloud innovations with customers around the world. And today, we're bringing you this information virtually. Now, let's first start with Microsoft's mission, and that's to empower people and organizations across the planet to achieve more. And toward this end, we have three key ambitions to help you transform your business and organization in this new mobile-first, cloud-first world. So what are these three ambitions? First, it's around reinventing productivity and business process. We're reinventing the productivity experiences to be built for teams and networks to collaborate, to deliver both personal and organizational level insights, to enable delightful business processes that reflect how people really want and need to work, and of course, all available across all your devices in a secure way. The second ambition, around building the intelligent cloud platform. We're building a cloud platform that enables you to run any or all part of your infrastructure, including unparalleled support for hybrid. And on top of this, our cloud platform is embedded with intelligence that gives you new insights and capabilities that simply weren't possible before the cloud. And then third is create more personal computing. And this is about providing everyone a natural, fluid, personalized, and secure experience from their phone to the PC to the HoloLens to even the giant Surface Hub device across all of those. Now, for this session, we're going to focus on what Microsoft is doing specifically around cloud computing and how it can help you achieve more with your IT and development as you use the cloud to your advantage. Now, before I dig in specifically with what Microsoft is doing in the cloud, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about what's so transformative about the cloud and what inherently can it do around business transformation. So you're here today, so you obviously know that the cloud is interesting and it can help your business. So let's focus on those relative business transformation benefits around efficiency, agility, and differentiation. So first, with efficiency, it's about fast time to value. With things like SaaS applications, you can quickly deliver value from the cloud to your users. And there's really an explosion of SaaS applications going on for all these different parts of your organization. And you can literally just take advantage of them right there. And we see that SaaS is actually one of the first steps a lot of customers are taking on their journey to the cloud. Next is around being able to pay for what you need and nothing more. Because the cloud enables you to do this, you can save money. So, for example, with Azure, there's no upfront costs or requirements for a long-term commitment. You really literally only pay for the resources that you actually consume. And you can dial this up and down dynamically to meet your needs. In this way, it's very efficient from what you're paying for. And last but certainly not least is around hybrid scenarios. Now, over the last 18 months, we've seen the vast majority of customers deploy into a hybrid scenario, meaning some of the capabilities are in the cloud and some of them are on premises. And that's a normal run state that we expect for a long time. And even if you're tapping into the cloud for just a hybrid approach, you still get a lot of that time to value and cost benefit. And because Microsoft uniquely delivers both rich on-premises technology as well as cloud technology, we make sure that it's a really smooth experience, like things like our stretched database where you can go from on-premises into the cloud smoothly, or having one management experience across both. And so, again, it's very efficient even in a hybrid mode. So next is around agility. First thing with an agility is speed. The cloud enables you really to move faster and provide you with agility you wouldn't have with an on-premises experience. So in terms of spinning up infrastructure or deploying databases or VMs literally in minutes versus what you'd have to do in an on-premises instantiation. Also with flexibility, you have shorter cycle times on what you're developing. You can be more iterative in the apps that you're developing for your organization and for your customers. And you can really deliver that time to value in a faster way with greater flexibility. And last is around elastic scale. Now with the cloud, you don't need to buy physical infrastructure anymore. You can literally just scale up and down globally to meet the demands that you have, and that's it. And the last area around differentiation. The cloud helps you differentiate your business and create new scenarios, like creating amazing web and mobile apps for your customers to have unique experiences for them, and also employee experiences too, really rapidly and cost effectively. You can also unlock new business models with insights discovered from things like big data analysis and machine learning, and discover opportunities you hadn't seen before. And then even creating power of the Internet of Things opportunities to go into new businesses or run your organization more efficiently. efficiently and more differentiated. Now, and the best thing of the cloud perspective is also it makes you as IT even more valuable to your business. It allows you to do more higher level work and get out of some of the base level kind of hygiene and patching area and be able to engage with your business partners to add higher level value. And we've actually done research to show this is actually the case, talking to customers who've been using our cloud services for a while and talking to the IT guys, and we actually see they're doing more interesting, more business value work, and in a lot of cases, things like it's been the best thing for their career. So really an opportunity from a personal perspective as well. Now, the cloud is one of those big generational shifts in computing, and it's continued to bring big changes for all of you as well as for Microsoft too. Now, today, every organization really needs to have a strategy about what their journey to the cloud will be. And of course, this journey is going to be unique. Each business has its own business drivers and priorities and cost requirements, and that's fine. Whatever journey works for you is okay, but having that plan is important. So as you think about your cloud journey, I want to break it down into the parts so you can think about it and also give examples of how we see customers doing this. At first, we have SaaS, right? Our software as solution applications. And again, getting back to achieving faster time to value and serving both customers as well as employees. And again, we see a lot of customers starting with SaaS as their first entree into the cloud. And then customers are extending their infrastructure at the cloud infrastructure level from to public cloud to achieve better agility and cost savings. And then increasingly, we have more capabilities that we're calling higher level services, things that are frankly only possible because of the cloud. Things like big data analysis, machine learning, and creating these rich, personalized user experiences that simply weren't possible without the scale and the compute capacity that we have with our cloud services. But really, it's the combination of these three parts of the cloud that enable real business transformation. Now, there are a bunch of fantastic customers who are running mission-critical workloads on the Microsoft Cloud. You see the logos here, just a few of many, but I'll talk to some of my favorites. The first is 3M. Now, 3M did an acquisition, and following this acquisition, they needed to be able to bring this company in and continue selling those products despite the acquisition. They couldn't take any hiccups in that process. So literally, over a weekend, they used Azure to build a simple mobile and web-based solution that was integrated into both the 3M systems as well as the acquired company system and met all of the 3M security requirements so that when they got back on Monday, they had an app that can continue to sell the acquired company's technology. Fantastic story of agility and effectiveness there. The second one I'd like to highlight is AccuWeather, and they're using Azure to not only serve more than 5 billion weather requests from their web and mobile devices, things you probably use every day on your phone, but they're also using it to bring in all of this weather information to do their forecasting around the globe. And you can imagine the enormous amounts of data they're using, all in Azure, to be able to run their service and get that agile insights instantly. Now, the last example is Jet.com, and they have a great story. But rather than hear it from me, let's hear it directly from them. Let's roll the video.
I think it's a great time to be an entrepreneur. I love the idea of starting something from nothing. At Jet.com, I saw an opportunity to transform e-commerce by focusing and innovating around price to, in real time, reprice products according to what's in people's baskets.
In order to do that, our pricing engine needs to continually evaluate tens of millions of products across thousands of merchants. There's continually tens of billions of operations going on to provide the lowest prices online. We're not in the business of creating new databases, new queuing methodologies, new storage mechanisms. Being able to leverage all the services and tools that are on the Azure platform, and we've gone from zero to a fully fledged e-commerce marketplace in about 12 months.
We already have 400,000 people signed up, and at launch, there's the potential for millions of people to hit the website to get to billions of dollars in top-line revenue. To be able to handle that level of scale would not be possible if it weren't for the cloud. We can sleep at night knowing that we're using Microsoft Azure cloud services.
What a great story. Now, today, Microsoft has over 80% of the Fortune 500 companies using the Microsoft Cloud, and we have tens and thousands of partners integrating with our Microsoft Cloud. It really is Microsoft who uniquely brings together the cloud apps, the data, the infrastructure, and the developer platform that gives you the flexibility to adopt the cloud how you need. Now let's first dig into this top area around productivity and business SaaS apps, including enterprise mobility. We now have the most widely deployed set of SaaS solutions in the market, whether that's Office 365 or Microsoft Dynamics or Power BI. We have solutions you can take advantage of to improve productivity, to drive more efficient business processes, or address BI challenges that you might have. And when you couple those with our enterprise mobility suite, you can empower IT to securely deliver these great experiences across all devices. But more than that as well, we can actually secure over 2,600 other SaaS solutions in the market from partners around the globe through our enterprise mobility suite, because we recognize that you have a lot of SaaS applications, not just those from Microsoft. You have a holistic approach there. Now, if we move on to the entire stack, with Azure, Microsoft offers this comprehensive set of cloud infrastructure, data insights and services, developer platform, management tools, and this enables you to create those differentiated experiences with greater agility than ever before. And it really is only Microsoft that brings you this whole breadth and depth of cloud capability. If you think about Amazon with AWS, they do infrastructure, but they don't have that SaaS application layer. Or someone like Salesforce, who does great SaaS CRM systems, but they don't have the infrastructure or the higher level services. By combining all of these capabilities together, the Microsoft Cloud gives you that end-to-end. And because we have the whole stack, it really gives us a differentiated experience in terms of creating world-class SaaS apps on top of the infrastructure and vice versa. So the entire Microsoft Cloud becomes that richer. And it allows you to differentiate in ways that just weren't possible without the cloud. Now, we're releasing new innovations literally weekly to the Microsoft Cloud. And it's a great experience where we can listen to what you need and turn that around and update what's in the cloud really quickly. If I think about the world of on-premises technology, we talk to customers and ask for feedback, and we get a piece of feedback and say, hey, I'd love this feature. And we'd say in 2 years, that next server is coming out, and then 2 years after that, you'll have that deployed, and in 4 years, you'll have just what you're asking for. Well, that's fine, but now with the cloud, we can literally turn those around, take your feedback into action, and update our cloud for you. We really are committed to make sure the cloud is the very best one for your business. Now, for the remainder of our time together, I'm going to show a few short demos just to give a sampling of some of what the Microsoft Cloud looks like, and you can see them for yourself. Across 3 key areas, there's application development, data analytics, and secure mobile productivity. Well, let's start with that secure mobile productivity experience. So now, being productive today requires working across devices. It also requires working with teams and groups and networks inside and outside your organization. This is simply the nature of work today, and we need our technology to be able to support this. That means that technology must support mobile, it must be collaborative, and it has to ensure security for the organization. Now, it used to be a trade-off between the experience and the security, but it doesn't have to be anymore with the cloud. And also, with things like machine learning, we can actually now deliver truly personalized productivity experience based on how you act and the relevance that's to you. Again, something that was simply not possible before. With Office, we call it the Office Graph, that intelligence layer. We're also providing these delightful experiences that people know from their personal lives into their business life. Because we know that if the people come to work and they don't like that experience, they tend to fall back to consumer services. And that puts your business information at risk. But now with Office 365, your employees have the latest and greatest innovation that they really enjoy using. So let's take a look at that experience.
Thank you, Julia. Let me start by showing you Delph. So what I see here on the homepage of Delph are different documents that Delph found for me that it believes are related to me. Delph is powered by Office Graph, and Office Graph gets its signals from things that we do together. Documents I work together with other people on, groups that I'm a member of, the way I interact with meetings, things like that. Based on that, it recommends that this might be a relevant document to me, or the sales philosophy document might be related to me. And you can see here that we actually added this document to a board. And so we added it to the durability solutions board, which is really a tag. So if you click on that, I can see everything that is related to that board, and I can start following this, or I can send the link to other people and start sharing this board with them as well. The next thing I could do is search for a user. Obviously, I can search in the search box, but I can also click on my recent contacts that I've worked with. And so here I'm looking at a colleague of mine that I've worked with, and I can see the documents that are related to that person and me. and so things that this person has created and that might be good for me to see. One of the other things I can see in here is people and other objects that are related to this person, and so not necessarily directly related to me, but might be very interesting for me to discover. Now, it's important to point out here that everything I see is security trimmed, and so I can only see that information that I'm actually allowed to see. If I click on myself, I can see my own profile and the activities that I have and that other people can discover from me. And what I like to demo next is something new, is Delve Analytics. And Delve Analytics will be coming to Office 365 very soon. And so what you see here in my Delve Analytics is that I can start discovering who I'm working with and how I'm working. So really what we're doing here is that we're taking all the signals that you get in your social graph, and we're putting computer analytics on top of that and computer learning, and we're trying to figure out what you have been doing and how productive you are and people that you're working with most. And so the first thing I can see is here what my week looks like. How much time do I spend in meetings? How much time do I spend on my email? When do I focus on real projects? How many hours do I work after hours, for example? Another thing I can look at is my network. I can see people that I collaborate with most. I can see people that I lost touch with, so maybe I should start reaching out to those people again. I can see how much one-on-one meetings I have, how much I talk to my manager, and so forth. I can also look at how productive I am with meetings. And so here you can see how many hours I spend in meetings, the people I work with, and we also try to show you what is the quality of the meetings that you're in. For example, if you're constantly in a meeting over and over again with people, maybe that's not the most quality meeting that you could have. And so we have some analytics that we put on that, and we try to recommend more relevant meetings to you. The same for emails. How many hours do I spend in email? How many, the percentage of people that actually read my email, and so forth. So very interesting insights to start learning what is really going on with the information around me. Now that I've found a document, let me switch over to Word. And in Word, what I wanted to show there is the real-time collaboration. So what you're seeing here is that I'm in a document together with Alex. And so I can be typing in the bottom here, and Alex is typing right on top of me, and so we can be in real time typing together on this document. So I just found this document, I click on it, it opens directly in my Office application. I can go over the different people, I can see that they're online, and so what is important is that even though we're typing together in real time in this document, I can actually click on here and directly go into a Skype meeting. So I can have a voice or an IM or a video conversation with Alex at the same time as well, while we're working on that same document in real time. So this is a really powerful way of collaborating together. Now that I have found all this information and I worked on a document together, the last thing that I want to demo for today is what if I work on my mobile device? And so from my mobile device, is the first thing I like to show you here is the home screen of an iPhone that I'm in. Now first let me say, hey, I hope everybody has all the applications that I show in here installed. There's all great Microsoft applications for the iPhone, but what I want to demo today is the Outlook app. So one of the things that happens with the Outlook app is that it says managed by your computer right now. And what that means is that this is a managed application and it respects the privacy and policies that my company has on its data. And so even though this is a private device, the app understands that I need to log in with my PIN first, and so that just happened. So even though this is a bring your own device and there's no other policies on this device, or my company hasn't given it to me, the Outlook is smart enough to say, well, you're about to go into corporate data, we need your PIN. Now the next demo that I like to show in that is, like, let's say I open an email from my corporate environment and I select some text, and then I'm going to copy that text, and now within the app, for example, I could actually switch to my private email address. So here I'm switching to an outlook.com email address, and if I try to copy and paste that data in here, if I hold, you see that I cannot even paste this data directly into this email, because the app and the whole phone itself is smart enough to understand that I cannot copy and paste corporate data into a private app or into a place where I could privately email that data around. So really protecting that data. And so that's all done by the Microsoft Mobility Suite, the Enterprise Mobility Suite. So that was really the end of my demos that I wanted to show here, how you can go all the way from discovering data, collaborating together, and keeping that data secure on any device that you work on.
I hope you enjoyed that demo of Office 365 Delve capabilities as well as the Enterprise Mobility Suite. Now let's take a moment to look at some of the customers who are using these solutions in real experiences. The first I'll highlight is Walsh Group, and they're a construction firm, and they learned that when they have their project managers on site, the more they're on site, the more successful their business outcomes for that project go. And so they took a BYOD approach so that employees could be having access to all of the information they need to get their job done on their phone so they can stay on site a lot more. And since they've moved to this new approach, they've seen their construction results go up significantly, which is fantastic. The second is Godiva, who of course is one of the best known names for chocolate around the world. And they're using both Office 365 as well as the Enterprise Mobility Suite to enable their worldwide sales force to have secure device mobility and get their job done wherever they are. And the last but not least is Air Canada. They're using Office 365 to connect with their employees worldwide. And as you can imagine, as an airline, of course, it has to be a mobile experience. And they have a great vision for changing their organization to be really innovative and modern. But let's hear from them exactly what this looks like. Let's roll that video.
Because collaboration prior to the technology meant sitting around in a lot of meetings. And now collaboration means sharing tools and easier ways of working together. Air Canada's aim is really to be a global champion, to connect people all over the world. We wanted to create an environment for our employees that was more like our vision of Air Canada, innovative and modern and creative.
In the last few years, we've been spending a lot more time investing in the employee experience. What we're seeing is this big collision of consumer technology, employees saying, hey, this is my experience personally. How come I can't have that at the office?
I have to encourage innovation, but on the other hand, I still need to protect the security and safety of the airline. The connectivity, whether it's within airports, to and from aircraft, maintenance hangars, with our pilots, with our flight attendants, and with our knowledge workers, it has to be real time and it has to be mobile.
I'm seeing a big change in our culture. Teams around the world collaborate with each other. Office 365 allows everybody to talk to everybody.
When you look at the integration of OneDrive for Business, Skype for Business, Office and SharePoint Online, it creates a very easy story for our employees. And as we watch some of the newer stuff that Microsoft's launching, Delve, Office Video, and Sway, we're starting to see that the tool sets are all there. It's nice to be always on the cutting edge.
We connect Canada to the world, and in order to do that, we have to connect with our employees. And that's really what this technology has done for us, has allowed us to connect in both directions.
It's awesome to see Air Canada innovating like that with the cloud. Now let's switch gears for a second to our second area, and that is data and analytics. Now the Microsoft Cloud provides a rich set of data services from BI to machine learning and predictive analytics. And you may have heard of some of our latest innovations in this area that include Power BI, cloud databases and cloud data warehouses, the Azure IoT Suite, and the newest member, the Cortana Analytics Suite with machine learning. Now, one of the new cloud offerings is the SQL Data Warehouse Service, which makes it easy for anyone to set up a data warehouse to aggregate and store data literally in minutes. You can elastically scale the data warehouse service to store petabytes of data and independently scale compute to match whatever resources you need. It makes it easy to interactively query and visualize the data stored within it, and even operationalize machine learning on top of it. Now, and best of all, it's actually really easy to do. So let's go take a look at that now.
Today, we are collecting more information than ever before to drive business insight based on data. To succeed, we need three things: a scaled data warehouse or a data store, tools to deliver insight, and an agile approach to be adopted that we can get business answers quickly. And so let's start by addressing agility and scale. Azure SQL Data Warehouse is the industry's first enterprise-class, cloud-based data warehouse with dynamic scale and massively parallel processing capability. What used to take days or weeks to get a data warehouse running, we're going to show you how we can do that in seconds. What we're looking at in the background here is the Azure portal. In order to create our SQL Data Warehouse, we click on our New, we choose Data and Storage, and then we choose SQL Data Warehouse. Now we can see from the screen that's popped up here, the blade as we call this, that we have some various options, and I'm quickly going to go through some of these with you. First is the scale slider. The scale slider allows us to introduce less or more compute based on our requirements, and this can be dynamically scaled during the workload. For the purposes of this execution, we're going to leave it at the default, which is 400. I can enter my database or my data warehouse name, and I'm going to give this a little name here in PPDW. I'm going to select my source server, and I can choose to create a new server or select an existing. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to select an existing. I have a choice whether I deploy a blank database or a sample database. So for blank databases, this is where we've got an established data model which we can simply load our schema into and then populate with data. But for the demo, I'm going to choose a sample data set, which is AdventureWorks. In order to continue, I literally need to provide my authentication details for the server where I would like to deploy my Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Once I've provided all the details, Azure has confirmed the details are correct, I can click Create and add this to my instance. And so what we can see now is Azure SQL Data Warehouse creating in the background. So I'm done. This was how easy it is to create an Azure SQL Data Warehouse. When I talk to customers, they tell me what takes them weeks or months to get a data warehouse, we've just done in seconds. Absolutely. What's more, we can change the scale to grow, shrink, or even pause, meaning that we don't incur any compute costs while we don't need to run compute. That's the scale and agility that Azure SQL Data Warehouse delivers. Storing data at scale is one thing, but what I really want to do is get some insight from that data. With Power BI, I can gain my insight into my data to make informed business decisions. And so let's see how easy it is to hook up Azure SQL Data Warehouse to Power BI. We're looking at the Azure portal, and I'm going to go into an instance of Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And I want to draw your attention to some icons at the top of the blade here. One of those icons is entitled Open in Power BI. And this is how easy it is to launch Power BI connected to Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And I'm going to launch this now. I click on Open in Power BI, and Power BI now opens in my new web browser. The connection and database information for Power BI is automatically provided by Azure SQL Data Warehouse when we connect. And we can see here that the server and the database have been pre-populated for me. I simply click Next, and now I'm being asked to authenticate. I provide the password for the account because Azure SQL Data Warehouse has passed my credential information to Power BI. And I can now choose Sign In, and we connect to Power BI. And now if I go to an Azure SQL Data Warehouse report, we can see here the data in the background on my report. But what I want to do is create another object on my report here. And so for this example, I'm going to choose sales by category. And I'm going to drag in my product line and my sales amount. And we can see that Power BI have produced me a tabular or table-based output. But I want to see something a little bit more visual. So I'm actually going to choose to see this in a step chart. We can see now that Power BI has visualized this data for me. And I can quickly save this report and now use this for any future requirements or for my senior stakeholders. This was how easy it is for me to create an Azure SQL Data Warehouse report using the power of Power BI. Insights becomes more powerful when we can aggregate multiple data sources together. In our case, we have data in an external instance, and for the purpose of the next demo, we're actually going to use Salesforce as our external data source. Wouldn't it be cool if we could visualize that data inside Power BI alongside my existing data created in the previous report for SQL Data Warehouse? Power BI easily connects to any data source, and we've made it really easy to connect to the systems that you use most often with pre-built sources for very fast insight. I want my Salesforce data, and so to get Salesforce, I simply navigate to my Get Data button, I choose Services, and here I have a list of content packs, of which Salesforce is one of those. Very quickly on the content packs, these are a suite of offerings available from partners and customers to deploy and build themselves based on data sources. And so for this example, we're choosing Salesforce, and to connect, I simply choose Connect, and then I authenticate into my Salesforce instance. I'm going to now go back to my dashboard from earlier on and choose one of my Salesforce dashboards that I previously loaded. And here we can see my Salesforce data, and I can drill into my Salesforce data and see the information behind it. However, if I wanted to actually add another object to this, very easily I can do this by navigating to my Azure SQL Data Warehouse report that we created earlier. I can take an object that I created, and we're going to use the object that I created earlier, and I can now choose to pin this either to an existing dashboard or to a new dashboard. Because my Salesforce data is my opportunity analysis data, I'm going to choose to pin my step chart to my opportunity analysis data. I have now been confirmed by Power BI that it's pinned to the dashboard, so let's go and take a look. I click on my Opportunity Analysis Sample dashboard, I scroll down to the bottom, I can see that I've got a placeholder for SQL Data Warehouse connection source, but here is my sales amount data. What we've just demonstrated is how easy it is to create a very intuitive and insightful based dashboard and report mechanism leveraging data from multiple sources in a single common insight environment, such as Power BI. And so what we've shown you today end to end is how easy it is to create a scaled, massively parallel processing data warehouse with Azure SQL Data Warehouse, and how you can quickly obtain insight into your data with Power BI from multiple sources in and outside of your enterprise. Thank you.
Thanks for that demo. Now, of course, we have great customers taking advantage of our data and analysis capabilities as well, so I'll highlight a few. The first is Lotus F1. Now, you can imagine the amount of data that these cars generate coming off of the track and taking all of that information in, but the hard part is figuring out what really matters. So what they've done is use our SQL BI capabilities to be able to take all the insights in, run machine learning, and get the insights and get those cars back out on the track. A great opportunity for them. The other one is Ford, who's now using IoT sensors in all of their vehicles to stream Internet of Things data directly to Azure and optimize the car ownership experience for all of their customers. And Rockwell Automation. Now, as you can imagine, it's certainly complex to keep the supply chain for fuel and crude oil going. Now, Rockwell Automation has built a great IoT solution that monitors all of the capital assets involved and to improve efficiency. And their solution uses the Azure IoT suite to collect and integrate and analyze all of that information and turn that back around so they can keep the fuel flowing. Now, one of the things that makes the Microsoft Cloud unique is the comprehensive set of services and tools that we deliver for developers to build great apps. Now, earlier this year, we released the Azure App Service. It's a powerful suite of capabilities that enables developers to quickly build and scale out web and mobile solutions anywhere in the world. It's got built-in support for building apps in .NET, in Java, Node.js, PHP, and Python. And it provides built-in auto-patching support that enables you to focus more on your apps as opposed to having to manage all of your infrastructure. Now, why don't we take a look at that now?
Thank you, Julia. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to create, build, deploy, and scale your web app in Azure App Service. To do that, we're going to start here in the portal. So to start creating a web application, we're going to jump into New, go to Web and Mobile, and here we're going to choose a web app. This allows us to deploy a website which can be deployed and scaled via App Service. So first things first, I'm going to choose a name. I'm just going to use Azure App Service Demo 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a new resource group for myself. And this resource group will contain all of the resources that I create today. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a new app service plan. And this app service plan will contain all of the different applications that I create. It'll allow me to scale the app service plan, and it also determines the location in which my application runs in. I can name this whatever I want it to. And since I'm recording here, I'm going to do S1. And then we're going to hit Create. And this is now going to go kick off a deployment and go create my web application. So while that's running, let's jump over to Visual Studio and create ourselves a simple ASP.NET application. I'm just going to name this Web Application 3 to keep life simple. You can see here that it's got my subscription already kind of looked up here. And I can actually choose to add application insights here. But to make this my life simple, I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And we'll go through the MVC creation dialog. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an MVC site. You can see here that I can choose host in the cloud, but since I'm already creating my web application and I'm going to show you how to deploy to an existing web application, I'm going to uncheck this. And this looks right. So we're going to hit OK. And this is going to create our project for us. And while we're deploying an ASP.NET site here today, as Julia mentioned, we can go ahead and use a Node application, a Python application, PHP. We have a wide variety of support for different web technologies. So now this is created, I'm just going to go ahead and kick off a build to make sure my NuGet packages are installed. And we can go ahead and explore the publish dialog. So if I go here and hit publish, you can see I have a couple of different targets I can choose from. Here we're going to go ahead and browse my different web applications. So this is going to go ahead and look up my different subscriptions. I created something in my MSDN account. And we're going to use Azure App Service Demo 1. You can see this is the resource group name that I chose, and then this is the application name that I chose. Hit that. And the beautiful thing about this is it fills in all of the settings for me. So now I don't need to go ahead and know what my username is. I don't need to know what this long password is. It goes ahead and grabs all that information for me. And I can set some more options as a part of deploy. I can actually see a preview of what the deploy looks like. But to make life simple, I'm going to hit publish. So now this is going to take all of this code and all of my packages and kick it right up to the cloud for us. And while that's doing that, let's jump over to my application that I created, and we'll go ahead and check out how we can scale the application after we've actually got users using it. So to do that, in the settings menu, we picked App Service Plan, and you can see here that I can actually set an instance account that I set manually. And it's just loading my new page here. So when I do this, I can actually say, hey, go ahead and scale me up to 7 instances. I'm not having to deploy any new VMs here. It's all being done automatically for me. I can hit save, and I'll have 7 new instances running my web application, scaling horizontally as much as I want to. But let's say that I want to be smarter than that. I can actually set performance rules, and I can say, hey, if I'm getting close to 80% here, I can increase my account by 1. And so every single time my CPU count gets high, I can actually go ahead and scale my application up. And I can also do things like add a schedule. So if I know that my application's busy at night or busy during the day, I can actually scale my application up. And if it's quiet during the night, I can scale it back down on a schedule. So now that you saw there in the background, our web application actually did deploy, and I'm working on it right here. And that's it. Really simple, quick, 5-minute way of building a web application, deploying it to the cloud, and scaling it up to meet my needs. Thank you. Back to you.
Love that demo about the app service. Now today we have more than 350,000 developers building apps using the Azure App Service. And of course we have lots of great customers doing this. Now earlier we already talked about Jet.com, so I won't talk about them now, but some other great examples are Alaska Airlines. And they've built an employee-facing solution using Azure with a mobile and web experience, as you imagine, with people on the planes, and it integrates with existing on-premises apps and data, which is so important. And maybe one of my favorite stories is what the United Nations Development Program is doing. And they're actually using multiple Microsoft Cloud technologies to power mobile apps that serve as the administrative backbone to help them manage the rebuilding efforts that they're doing in Nepal. Important work. Why don't we take a look at that video?
The future can offer hope and possibility. We help shape it with our character and build it with our dreams. But the future can also present us obstacles that test our will and determination. This is how we find the power within us.
The frantic search for survivors goes on round the clock, following Nepal's biggest earthquake in 80 years.
Disaster relief is always overwhelming. There's too much to do, too many people that need help, and never enough time or resources. The United Nations Development Program is a global network of knowledge, experience, and resources. We're a group focused on building sustainable communities and empowering people. And now, partnering with Microsoft, our frontline responders in Nepal are testing a new approach, using the Microsoft Cloud to store and process data, helping obtain the insights we need to help our programs have the greatest impact. With over 600,000 buildings destroyed in the quake, the debris management program was established to bring fast-acting relief and recovery to support the hardest-hit areas. In 4 short months, we've equipped local engineers with mobile devices and a custom application to expedite damage assessments, prepare for safe demolition, and track our efficiency. Completing over 3,200 assessments and 2,000 safe demolition projects, paving the way for reconstruction. This application will also become essential to our emergency employment efforts. And combined with QR card distribution, we'll be able to provide critical daily cash payments to thousands of workers helping to clear debris, putting money back into communities that need it the most. Additionally, a joint poverty alleviation initiative between the UNDP and the government of Nepal is using the cloud to collaborate with other partner organizations, providing support to over 13,000 micro enterprises, helping them get their businesses back on their feet. Disasters create unique opportunities for innovation. Our partnerships and our work here in Nepal are strengthening the UNDP's current operation, while allowing us to develop new cloud programs that will revolutionize the way relief organizations operate in the future.
The Nepali people have shown dedication, tenacity, and resolve. And with our continued support, they will be empowered to build a better future.
What an inspiring video. Now, like you, all of the customers we've talked about in this session have their own way to tap into the Microsoft Cloud to meet their unique business goals and transform their business. Now, as we work towards our 3 ambitions, it really is focused on empowering you to achieve your goals. And we're honored to work with you in your own unique cloud journey. Please take advantage of the over 80 virtual sessions available as part of the Cloud Roadshow, and start mapping out your journey to the cloud today. Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see what you will create with the Microsoft Cloud Solutions.